It's Friday. Well, actually, it's been Friday since the earlier stream, but I just thought I would emphasize it being Friday. So happy Friday, everyone! Thank you very much for tuning in. And if you're tuning in after Friday or any other day than Friday, then happy day, happy days, happy days. So I'm going to try and make this a quick one. I noticed earlier. Actually, first of all, let's just fix these. Let's slide these over. Let's slide these over. Let's get rid of all these little triangle bits. So we're just gonna slide those over there. And then we are going to distribute these evenly. So we, excuse me, we need that one. This little one here, this little edge and this little edge to lead into the next part of the wheel arch. So we're going to distribute these evenly, these evenly, and these evenly. Then what we're going to do is we're going to, what's going on here? That's looking quite thick compared to that part, so we're just gonna make, right, let's see if we're gonna add a subdivision modifier, which I don't think we are. Let's put a crease on there for now, just so it looks better for now, in case we make any further changes. So we're going to grab those, we're going to slide them down like so. Then we're going to slide that one over, slide that one, and then we're going to select that edge and those bits there, and we're going to do mark sharp and mean crease on there. Okay, so now we can see how that curve or that wheel arch eyebrow is looking, and it's looking like it's leaning the wrong way. Let's have a look in top view, shall we? Yes, it certainly is. So what we need to do here is we're going to use our world famous scaling trick. So let's isolate. Actually, also at this point, what we could do is we can get rid of that second collection. So put it in there, delete it, isolate that. Let's grab this, let's isolate this, click on scaler, and then let's scale that down. And then in top view, what we need to do is make sure that the bottom of the eyebrow is further outboard than the top. So let's just quickly have a window here when we're looking in side view. And let's join to the right, and let's go side view here. So first of all, let's see, what do we want? Do we want that to go in or the bottom to come out? And usually you want to make things wider if you can. So we will, because we can, therefore we will, because we can. And then we're just gonna nudge those so that the bottom bit, which is this bit, is further out than the top. And at the bottom there is gonna go in like that. So that's good. And let's just make sure that's a nice constant offset there as well. Let's nudge that in a little bit, and then those look like they probably want to do something like that. And these, let's see, that goes in, and then, so those are dictated by the back or the bumper bit, so we have to leave those. That's good. While we're in this view, we can tickle these vertices and just make them flow nicely. Make sure that they go with the flow, of course. Historically, going with the flow is what you want to do. it's considered to be the relaxing, chilled thing to do. Go with the flow, or to make like water and go with the flow. That's also a possibility. Let's see, while we're up here, while we're up there, let's grab this edge and this edge, and then let's isolate those. Let's look from the inside. Let's turn off mirroring, and let's see how we can improve these. So here it looks like it dips down before coming back up again. So what we want to do is just raise those up so that the peak is, talking of peaks, I've just remembered what we were discussing earlier on in the show. Scale, put that back to 1. And what we were discussing was the fact that from side view, it looks like the peak is up here somewhere, which is not, I repeat, not what we want. So what we're going to do here is fix it, and therefore everything will be much better. So let's grab the center, which is that one, or the peak, and let's also grab our scalar, and the scalar is just going to be a guide really, just so we know where the center is. Okay, so that, whoops, let's deselect those, and now let's isolate these. And what we're going to try and do is we're going to just try and lean this over. We're going to lean it over so that the peak is more up here rather than being sort of up here and looking a little bit odd. So with that in mind, let's start here at the front, and let's gently just ease these up and try and increase the height of that one without actually increasing it. So we've led this curve up here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to flatten it towards the back. So actually what I'm going to use here is I did have a shortcut for this, but I accidentally deleted my shortcuts. So we're going to go to relax. We're going to tap it. And that's not really what I was hoping for. Okay, so what we're going to do instead is just nudge them manually. Yes, we're going to nudge them manually. I wonder if I move one of them like that and then try that tool, will that give me more what I want? What was it? Relax. There we go. That's more like it. Okay, good. So what you need to do, so what that relax tool does is you can use a vertex in a row of vertices, and it sort of does an average of all of them. There we go. That's more like it. Okay, so it looks like we've moved the peak over to the front. As per discussion, let's tap these up. Let's add a little bit of curvature to the front there as well. Because whoa, somebody is not happy about that. Okay. Okay, relax. Excuse me, if you don't relax, you're going to have to leave the premises, I'm afraid. Okay, good. And let's have a look in the top view. Okay, so I think it might change our curve if we planarize these. So let's do as much work as we can in manually before. Let's scale this in X. So we've clearly got a funny there. So let's see what happens when we do planarize here or flatten. So flatten, best fit. Okay, so side view, not too bad. Not too bad in side view. Let's have a look front, or front 3/4, top view. That's good. We're happy about that. The only thing I'm not too happy about is this one vertex just there, which I'm just going to nudge down manually and then move these back up like this. And then we're going to flatten again. Okay, so that's good. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to rotate the whole thing. And what that will mean is that it stays planarized, but we're just moving it so that it aligns with the last vertex there. So let's just rotate a little bit in top view, and let's rotate a little bit in this direction as well, like so. And what we could do at this point is deselect that last one, and then let's try flatten again, and it should be no move because all we did is rotate, so it should still be flat or planar. Okay, let's bring in the rest where we just moved that one. Okay, that's good. And so now let's grab, so this is the one we just fixed in inverted commas. So now let's grab the next row along. So these ones are getting in the way a little bit. So let's hide those, and let's hide these. And then let's work these bad boys out. So we're going to taper it. So from the front, at the front, it's going to be the widest in side view. And then as it goes towards the rear, it's tapering to not quite to nothing, but thinner. Let's isolate that in here. Okay, we've got a bit of a sort of triangular square thing going on there. So let's just nudge that up in top view. That's good. Okay, and then let's go back in side view, and let's continue to taper the two curves relative to each other, like so. So that's looking good. That's looking good. That's looking good. That one a little bit higher over here, a little bit higher there, and then towards the front. That's looking nice. Okay. Let's have a look at that, shall we? Let's put subdivision on. That's looking good. Okay, well, let's bring in the next row, which is the one on the inside. So let's grab that one again. Let's plus isolate. Let's select that one, hide that one. And we're going to do the same thing over here. Let's just hide these. We don't need those. They're just getting in the way. What we could do here is just nudge these in a little bit like that in top view. Nudge these up, nudge these along. Nudge, nudge, nudge. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Okay, there we go. That's good. It's looking good. And then for the side view, we need to just taper them so that they're consistently tapering. So it looks like this one, ooh, it's looking quite flat on the back. So let's nudge these ones. So it's going to be quite flat there. It's going to be flat, flat. This one's going to go up. And then as we get to the apex, or the highest point, which is around here somewhere, it's going to start to taper out a little bit, but then it goes back to being thin again. So actually let's just keep it quite thin the whole way from front to back. Let's turn it back on, subdivision modifier on. Let's have a look, turn everything back on. There we go, and that is much better. It still looks a little bit, it could go down a little bit, I think. It could go down a little bit. Let's turn on mirror modifier. So I think, could it be a bit lower in the center? Yes, I think it could be. What do we think? Do we agree? Let's turn on a little bit of shading. What I have also noticed is the back here looks a little bit droopy compared to the front. And we did notice in the beginning of the last video that this GT4 model looks like they've lowered the back. So this is probably why this looks like it's drooping. So what we could do here is is we're going to leave the diffuser, but I wonder if we add something to it so that it goes all the way to the front and then maybe hooks up again, so that visually it doesn't look like it's drooping at the back. So let's try, what we're going to try here is let's duplicate this, separate it, let's separate, and let's select that bit. Let's just trim here and here. Let's give ourselves a lovely square, or a quad should I say, and then we're just going to drag that forward. As I said, we're just looking how this looks. We're looking at how this looks just in terms of a silhouette, basically. See if it looks good or not. Obviously it's just made up, a bit of geometry there, but if it helps, so let's have a look. That's without and that's with. So I think it does help, doesn't it? Does it? Definitely does. Let's just have a look. Sort of 3/4 side. So yeah, I think we'll keep that. As I said, just to draw the draw that line, draw the eye sort of forward and up, as opposed to, where is it? As opposed to that looking a little bit like the back is, as I say, drooping. So let's turn that off. Let's make the ground plane, oops, let's select the ground plane. Let's make it, it's deleted all my shortcuts, I keep forgetting. Join down, and my shortcut for, where is it? Visibility, what was it? It was, where was it? Hold on. So object. It was this one here, display as. So my shortcut for this was assign shortcut Control Alt P, I think it was, and then we change that to a wire, and then we can make that disable selection. Then let's go back to here, and then let's just block something in. So let's just grab that, and I wonder if we just add a little chamfer here like this, put a 1 in there, and let's make that let's solidify that first, then let's add a subdivision modifier. Then actually we want to subdivision first, then solidify it. Then I wonder if we add either a crease and a and mark sharp, and change this to keep corners. Then let's just, as I say, you won't see this at all, but, and then also let's just give that a mirror modifier like so. That's good. And then what we want to do while we're down here is just match the front to the back so that there's no light leaking in through the bottom. So let's select these bits, select, plus. Let's go select all of these as well, and let's separate those. Let's do the same thing for the back. So we're going to go, let's use this time. Select all of those bits. Let's do plus. Let's grab those. Let's separate those. Let's isolate these two items. Let's look at these, make sure they are indeed symmetrical, which they look like they are. And let's select one half, delete. Let's join those. Let's add a mirror modifier to that. Make sure clipping is turned on. Let's select all, and then let's quickly just clean these up a little. Oops, let's clean these up a little bit. Move that to there. Now, do we want to move it lower or higher? What's better? Probably, I think, seeing as this one's got a diffuser on it already, let's go lower. So let's select those, and then let's grab that, snap it, snapping on, snap it to there. Then we need to either make the back wheel arch wider or the front one narrower. Let's see, if we go wider, will that cause us any issues whatsoever? No, will it? I don't think it will. So let's change that so it's all nice and colourful. And then let's select this edge of vertices, and then let's select that one, go scale X to bring that to that side. Let's drag that down there. Let's merge those. Then let's see what we can do here. Let's snap that to that, that to that. Snap these together. These, let's have a look what's going on here. This will all be in the dark anyway, so it doesn't really matter how clean it is. Now let's see, are we going to go up here or down? I think we should probably go down, 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 down. Yes, we can go down as long as it's not below the wheel arch. Well, wheel arch well. Wheel arch well. Let's just do a little cleanup. Let's just do a little cleanup over here with these. We're going to bring that down. We're going to bring that down to there. As I said, this will all be in the dark, so this is just to give us a nice shadow underneath or inside the wheel well. They've made that quite difficult to say together. Wheel well. They should have made it wheel. What goes easy after wheel? Wheel nil. Maybe if they made it wheel nil, that's easier to say, isn't it? Or wheel feel. Yeah, it's just, I'm just not sure about having those two words together like that. It's just wheel well. The wheel well. I've said that so many times, I'm not sure that that is actually what it's called now. Is it? Wheel well. Anyway, what am I doing? So we're doing a little cleanup there. Let's clear custom split normals. Let's add a weighted normal there. Let's apply it. Let's bring the rest of the car in. Okay, so we were talking about this being a little bit too high. So if we go to this one, yeah, so we could definitely afford to drop that down. I mean, this doesn't go to the back like this one. This one doesn't go to the back here like this, but especially when you compare them, this looks a bit too bulbous. Is that the right word? Bulbous? So we are going to go back to the drawing board and lower this line again. So isolate, let's bring in the scalar, isolate, and then let's just grab these. No, actually what we're going to do is we're going to grab that one, we're going to turn this on, we're going to move it down, and we're just going to use the scrolly It's making too much change on the front. So what we're going to do is we're going to hide the front. Then we're going to select that one, move it down. The only thing is, without seeing the front, we don't know how much we need to move it. So let's undo that. Let's see. We want to probably move it somewhere. Let's turn this off. We want to move it somewhere. Oh, there's no way of guessing really, is there? We just have to guess it. Right. Let's go back, select this one. Not that one. Or was it that one? Yeah, no, it was that one. Select that one. I mean, this is quite a good clue here. We can't go any lower than that. And that. So let's isolate those. And then let's just do this by eye. So let's just go, let's say there, shall we? So we've moved those. That one can maybe go up a touch. And what we can do here is we select that one and we go SZ. So that flattens that curve, which actually is doing a pretty nice job. Let's drop that one like so. And then let's drop this one a little bit as well. And then this one can go over a bit to the right or the front. Let's have a look how we're looking. Oh, what's going on here? We do not like that. So let's select all of these. Select that one last. And then we're just going to rotate like so. Just to lead that into there, just like that. There we go. Let's have a look, shall we? Let's have a look at that in context. So this one and this one. So we're now going to isolate those and make sure they run nicely. So that's going to go up. That's going to go across. That's going to go up. This is looking a little bit flat here, actually. So let's drop that one. So it can be flat, but if their neighbours are looking nice and round and juicy, then they cannot be flat because the neighbours will just laugh at them. So let's make sure that the neighbours are all the same. Although I guess if they're good neighbours, then they should really support them, and they should just say, look, if I have to be honest, you're looking a bit flat. So just have a little pumpy up there. Little pumpy? Little pump up there. And we can all be friends. There we go. So we do have tapering from the back to the middle part, and it's tapering out again, but we're going to see if we can make that work. So let's turn those back on, and let's grab that edge and that edge. Let's isolate those, and let's see. Okay, so those need to go down like that, like this. That goes down, that goes down. This one's going to go down, 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 town. Can that one go down as well? Not really. Oops. Or maybe it can a little bit like that. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Okay. Where were we? So we've got this one and this one. Isolate. This one's going further back, so it can go lower, but this one is not. So let's see. Let's move these down so that they follow that one, as I was saying earlier. And maybe they taper towards the front. Let's see how let's see how this looks, shall we? Let's have a look in top view. Let's turn it back on again. And let's have a look at it in context, turn some wheels on. And that, I think, is looking much better. What would be nice right now is to have a before and after. But unfortunately, I've been careless and I've not saved a before to compare. But worry not, because as long as it looks good, then everything will be fine. Okay, and I think it does look good. It's looking nice and sleek. And I think now Porsche will be will be happy about that, won't you, Porsche? All the Porsche people, what do you think? Good, right. Let's now move on. Right, are we happy with this wheel arch? So the wheel arch looks a bit funny there, so we need to just pump it up a little bit, pump it up a little bit there, and there, like so. Let's make a little adjustment over here, and here, and here, and here, and here, like so, like this, like that, and this and that. And let's have a look. How's that looking? Okay, that's looking better. I think we just need a little bit more crown just there, a little bit more rounded. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. That's looking better also. I think maybe here it looks a bit exaggerated. It's looking like it's doing this a little bit. So I think maybe pull that over. And also this could go over like this as well. This one goes up. This one goes over. This one goes over this way. And what we're doing here is we're just improving the... we're improving that flow from front to back or back to front. So if you imagine we've got a curve that goes all the way from here, goes up into this bit, goes around and then hits here. I think we're there. I think maybe it could do with a little bit of more rounded in the center, like so. This one as well. Let's have a look at that, shall we? Okay, well, I think we're getting there. I think maybe two more tap there. And I think that's looking good. Now, looking at the wireframe, it's looking like perhaps it's sagging just a little bit around here. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to do a little bit of adjustment. We're just going to move those up so that the wireframe and indeed the surfaces are looking a little bit more, what's the word, taut, I guess. And let's move that one over. Let's have a look at that. That looks much better. This one here could potentially move up a touch as well. So we're just going to slide these up. Beautiful, beautiful work. There we go. Nice. There we go. Okay, that's good. And while we're here, so now that we're working in subdivision modifications, we can probably get rid of some of these. So we're going to do a little bit of reduction. Okay, so let's grab those, get rid of those. Let's slide these over. Let's move these over like so. Then let's adjust these like so. I wonder, dare I get rid of these? Let's just try it. Let's see what happens. Let's slide those over. Let's move these up. We can certainly get rid of one of these. Oops. Oh, we got a triangle there, triangulation. So let's go from here to here. Let's join those. Let's move those up. And then let's try that again. So that's good. We can nudge these over a little bit like this. And then that, my friend, is looking a-okay. Right, so we've reduced that quite significantly and it looks good still. We can now perhaps get rid of that one to give us a lovely square. Oh, we just need to do a little bit of adjustment just here, here, and here, here, here. Adjustment here, here, and here. And adjustment here. Let's move this out. And this one as well, so it flows better as it goes around that lamp there. Let's nudge that in. Let's nudge these over like so. Let's see. Let's move that one over like that. And then let us pray. Right, let's get rid of these. Let's slide that over, and then that one, and then that one, like that. So we're going to do a little bit more reduction over here. Let's get rid of that one, and let's slide that one over, and I wonder if we can get rid of one of these as well. So these are for that corner, that little break just there in the line. So you've got one line, fillet, another line, and this one here is used to give you a little bit of curvature to this. So really what we're doing here is we're just optimizing the patches and the vertices and the faces. And let's get rid of that one. Let's see how that looks. This one could maybe go down a touch like so. Let's have a look, see how we're looking here. So I think we're still looking very good there. And right, let's fix this in a bit here, which has been begging to be fixed for some time now. So let's grab our curve there, which was our guide. Let's grab that guide, and I think we need to just offset it. So if we select all and we go to offset, and then offset it by around 0.003, which is 3 millimeters, which is roughly how much the gap is between a moving part. So this is a bonnet, it's a moving part, so the gap between here and the fender would be roughly 3 millimeters. That's like a standard figure. So let's now match that guide so we have a nice consistent gap, as you would expect from a Porsche or Porsche, depending on where you're from, and everything will be a-okay. Right, and let's see, we need to do a little bit of, we need to add an edge just here. We nudge these over like this, get rid of this triangulation. Let's nudge these over. Let's nudge these, and actually what we could do as well at this point is to get rid of these, slide them over like that, and we'll just work with these for now, and if we need it we can add that edge there later. So let's continue matching that offset for the split. Let's slide those over, slide that one over like that one over like that. Let's go to top view. Let's turn on subdivision modifications, and let's just grab the top, slide it over like that. Let's just do a little fix up just here. Let's just do a little further fix up just there. We could just put a triangle in there for now. Let's see, what do we need to do here? So we've got can we get rid of some of this? I wonder if we can get rid of that. Move these over. Try and get a square in there. Slide these over like that, just so that they're spread out or distributed more evenly. Is that what we worked with earlier over there? I believe perhaps maybe it was. So let's have a look. So I think these and these aren't talking to each other just yet. So come on guys, have a chat and talk to each other a little bit. There we go. So they need to go up, and that back one there is looking very suspicious. That one there as well. Let's nudge that one up. Okay, let's move this one down. That one down. So we're getting rid of the S-ing there that we had. So we're just going to nudge these over like so. And let's grab these. Let's distribute them evenly. And then let's just slide them back. Slide, slide, move and slide. Let's bring it back in. Bring it back again. Okay. And then let's turn on subdivision modification. Let's try and match that guide a little bit better. Okay, good. So over here, I believe I can fly, and we need to, I think we need to add an edge just there. Then we can slide this one along, get rid of these triangles. Over here, I think we slide those over, move that one down, move that one along, and do we need to add an edge there? I guess so. He says reluctantly. And then I think what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to slide these over just a touch, like so. I'm going to move that in, and I'm going to go from here to here, distribute evenly, distribute evenly, distribute evenly, and for the final time, distribute evenly. Now that's looking good. Let's have a look with subdivision modifications on. So we need to have that edge. So this edge obviously needs to be higher up because it's doing, we've got a bit of an inflection going on here. So what we need to do, select that edge and that one, isolate them. Let's turn off mirror modifier. Let's isolate that. And what we need to do is we need to make sure that the relationship between this curve and this one is consistent. So let's grab that. At this point, I'm just going to take a little sip of water. One moment, please. I'm going to put it on mute while I do that. And I very much hope that the mute did indeed mute and you didn't hear me slurping, and I feel like there should be something else. Slurping and slapping? Slurping and slapping. Slurping and... Anyway, what was I saying? So we're gonna... oh yeah, so we're moving this edge up in order to be able to create that crease, which we've accidentally lost. So we're just moving these up, making sure we've got a really nice... Oh, what's going on here? Very suspicious. What's going on there? So that one all of a sudden looks quite different. What was I moving there? It's this one, wasn't it? This one, but then all of a sudden something looked suspicious. I can't remember what it was. Ah, this did. Why did that look so suspicious? Right, do we need to move that up like that? Right, so what we're going to do here, why have we turned on mirror again? Where were we? Right, consistent with consistent offset, so we don't quite have that. So let's go back here. We're just going to nudge these. So we've got a nice consistent relationship between these two curves. Okay, I'm just going to quickly close the door. I'm just going to close the door because there's a little bit of noise outside. And let's quickly finish this off so that we can go and greet those people outside. No pressure. Right, let's move these in. Let's nudge these over like that. So we do have, it looks wider here, narrower here, and wider here again. So what we're going to do is just very quickly grab those, select that point there. We're going to go scale X. And then we're going to do something very similar here. Select that, scale X. Oops, wrong direction. Okay, let's have a quick look. So, yeah, so still looking a bit too wide there compared to here. And let's just quickly look and see if we can indeed move that any further. I think we can. So if we go scale X like so, and then grab this one, scale X, and let's have a look at that. Okay, that's good. And we've got a little bit of highlight issue there, and that's because the next rows on, these are meant to be right next to these. They're meant to be brothers, man. But look where they've gone. They're way down there. So what we need to do is just we need to reposition them so that they are standing united, united front, United Airlines, right next to each other. Where is that one? So that's, so in top view, we're going to just go so that they're parallel to each other, like so. So we're going to fix the top view first, and we're going to do as if you imagine this curve and then you offset it. So you have to do a sort of like a radial offset, which is what I'm trying to do by eye. My little eye spy radial like so. Where is that one? That one's there. So there we go, that's good. We're happy there, I think. And let's just do that one as well. And then in side view, we're going to do the same thing. So let's quickly grab those. And in side view, we're just going to make them so that they're, let's turn off auto merge. In side view, we're just going to make them so that they're the same height, or very similar heights at least. This would ideally be done in an ideal world with loads of time. What you would do is build that as one, and then you would add a bevel modifier to it afterwards, and then you would have the perfect relationship between these two, and then the next one's down. However, due to time constraints and the weather, you just have to do what you can with the time provided to you. And also don't forget, as I always say, whenever you're doing a model, remember one of the most important questions, if not the most important question, is why are you doing this? And that should answer a lot of questions with regards to how long you spend on it, the quality, what you're doing, why you're doing it, etc., etc., etc. So as you may or may not know, etc. is not spelled etc. It's etc., which is something I discovered quite late in my life. But since having discovered that, I feel really wise knowing it. So the little tip there for you, it's etc. And I'm sure there is a historical story about where that comes from. I would imagine it's something to do with Latin. It's got Latin vibes about it, doesn't it? Etc. Okay, what's happened here? We've gone right off our guide there, haven't we? Is that the guide? Yeah, it is. For some reason, we've gone off the guide. We've gone off the rails, and we have lost the plot. Right, okay, so let's go. Yeah, it's gone right off there as well, hasn't it? Why has that happened? Okay, let's go down. We must have done it in top view, perhaps. So as I always say, it's very important to always be looking at your model from all views, all perspectives, all walks of life, to make sure that it looks good in all views. And that's probably true for all things in life, really. You don't want to be narrow-minded. you want to get a big perspective on life and learn as much as you can and see as much of the world as you can, really, that would be nice, because there's a big world out there. Although sometimes you can just look at some pictures on the internet and it's almost as good, and you don't have to leave your house, you don't have to queue up for millions of years at the airport. All right, let's have a look. How are we looking now? So that's quite nice, maybe a little bit too much. What we can do there is... So first of all, I wonder... All right, let's turn off subdivision modifications. What we're going to do here is we're going to just grab all of those and we're going to slide them to the end and then slide them over so that they're about halfway, like this. Then we're going to nudge this one down so it follows suit. So now that is a pretty planar, well, not pretty, it is a planar surface. And then what we're going to do here is we're just going to select all of these, and we're going to go shrink flatten, and we're just gonna give it just a little bit of concavity there. And if that's too much or too little, you still got an opportunity to change it here. So if you want to exaggerate that, you can do it just there, or if it's too much, you can do a little bit less. And don't forget that if you've lost it, you can press F9, but it's too late because I have actually lost it. That's interesting. What was that shortcut I just did there? Anyway, right, where were we? Where were we? Okay, good. So, mirror modifier on there. Let's have a look in this view. Okay, so that's looking nice. That sharp, that edge is looking quite nice and sharp. Let's have a look cross car. So we've got our little pretend diffuser there, really doing its job very nicely there. So I think all that's left here really is to fix these. I want to call them pylons. Are they called pylons? They might be, might not be, who knows. Let's just quickly fix these sort of return things. So let's just move those. Oops. Uh-oh, what have I done? Oh, there we go. Okay, let's just move those down here at this part. What are they doing? Are they sticking out a bit? So actually what we need to do is just get rid of all of those. And we've got some sort of intrusion there as well. So if we just grab those plus and delete. Let's have a look, shall we? So if I had to be hypercritical, probably add a little bit of crown just there, just a little bit. And yeah, that's what I would do. And I think I might still do it. Maybe not, actually. No, let's, in the interest of time, let's just do. What should we, oh yeah, let's finish off this. Let's finish this off, rather. So we're going to quickly get rid of that. We're going to grab that whole edge there. And all the way up, all the way up to there, and including that one. And then we're going to go with this one, we're just going to go straight down, extrude down. Then on that edge, we're going to add a bevel weight modifier. And then we're going to merge those, make sure auto merge is on. We're going to add a bevel weight all the way around the perimeter basically of this whole thing, apart from there. So in there, I think we might just run it out there instead, because we've already got a fillet that goes around there. Let's see what's going on over here. So it looks like we've got, well, we can probably have this bevel going around here actually. So let's slide that down and over, and then let's grab these, bevel weight 1, let's get rid of this, then let's very carefully with a degree of precision, let's select those, and then let's select that, let's go all the way round, let's select that one, and these bevel weight 1, let's go all the way around here, bevel weight 1, then over here, let's add it to this edge here, I believe. Let's just see how that looks anyway. Let's just add it there. It feels like it should be on this one, but let's just see how it looks there. And then let's add one there and there, so it doesn't go all funny. Okay, and then let's go to bevel weight modifier. Let's put it to the top of the stack. Let's change that to 1. Let's change that to weight. And let's see how that looks. Let's see how it looks without and with. Without, with. Let's change that to 2 maybe. Now let's leave that at 1. Okay, so that's good. This, I believe, oops, needs a little fix. Just there, I think that needs to go around like that. I think we can now add the square there, and then go and eat a pear over there, and then go and say hello to the mayor. Let's move those up, and then let's move these down. Then that one goes like that. Let's have a look in plan view. So let's just grab these. Let's get these a little bit closer there, like so. Let's grab these and get those closer to this corner. And let's grab those, get those closer. Those go there. So here, between these two, you probably have a touch condition, which is what we're getting. And then let's add a flange to this bit as well. So let's select the perimeter of this. Let's go down in Z. Then let's attach that to that, that to that, and let's add a bevel to these. Let's go to bevel, and then let's copy the bevel from there, copy to selected. Let's grab that one, let's hide that. Let's move that to the top of the stack. Then we'll notice that there is already a bevel there. So let's delete it, because I don't think we need or want it. Select all, make sure that the normals are all facing the same direction, which they looks like they are. And then what we can do here is we can build our own little black off there. So this is how we're going to do that. We're going to grab these components, then we're going to grab that one, and we're going to separate it, and then we can hide that. Then we're going to grab this one and separate it, then we're going to hide that. Then we're going to join these two. I said join these two, that's right. And then there is no geometry on there at all. That's interesting, isn't it? Okay, so let's get rid of that and that one. And then we just need to add more geometry to these so that they match. Actually, that's not going to work at all. This is ludicrous. Right, let's grab those. And actually, I think what we're going to do instead is just going to grab those. Make sure that that is on the fender side. The fender side has more geometry, doesn't it? Yep. So let's grab those, select those, extrude in X. So let's select that, make sure normals are facing the same direction. And then let's create a new shader for that. Actually, before we do that, let's select that. Let's just select all, remove unused slots. Let's select that one and then let's delete that, put a new one in there. Let's make that a diffuse. Let's call this blackout, and then let's make that black, but not completely black, because let's make that rough. And then let's have a look at that now. Okay, that's good. That is looking good. So now all that's left really, so we've fixed this, looking good. We've fixed that little bit on the bottom there. Let's just quickly fix these pylons, then wash our hands and then go and eat some dinner. How's that sound? Right, okay, so let's delete, let's isolate. No, hold on, let's make sure that auto merge is off. Then let's grab pylon 1, pylon 2. Let's separate pylons, isolate pylons, delete pylon on the right. Let's delete this rogue stuff here. Let's put mirror modifier on left pylon, and then look at the topology of pylon and go, oh my. Right, let's see. If we select that and we tap, 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 let's separate that. Then let's select that again. Let's go tries to quads. Change that to 1. Change this to 180. That is much, much better. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to slide. Are these in car line? So these aren't even in car line. So we're just going to have to do it by eye for now and then see how it looks and then come back to it later perhaps if we feel the need. So let's select let's select these bits and these bits, and then let's move them just in this view until they start to touch on the bottom. And then in this view, side on, let's put the pivot point there. And then let's rotate like so. Then let's scale this in Y. Scale it a little bit more in Y. Don't be shy, scale it in Y. And let's have a look. What's this bit? So this is rogue geometry. So we can get rid of that and let's have a look how we're looking. Okay, that looks believable. I believe it, so let's leave it. If you believe it, you should leave it. That's the famous saying. Let's have a look how that looks over there. So it goes around, hoops around, and it goes forward. And then what do? So I think what we could do is maybe balance it a little bit better, I think, by moving this down like this. And I wonder if this could maybe go forward like so. How is that looking? And how is that looking? Is that looking okay or nay? I think that looks okay. And so I'm going to leave it. Right, let's have a look at those wheels quickly, shall we? So let's grab we should really fix that camber, to be honest, as well. So let's do that quickly. Select that edge loop. Let's build a face in there. Separate that face. Then we're going to go select that. We're going to go to bisect. Let's go straight down. Let's change these all to 0. This one to 0. Make that one clear outer. Then we're going to delete custom split normals for no reason other than to get rid of them. Then we're going to select that. We're going to go shift and 7. Let's try that again. Shift and 7. Then we're going to put cursor to selected, and then we're going to build an empty to view, and over here we're going to just change no, we're not. So yeah, we're going to just move that to 0 like that. Now we can delete that sacrificial surface there. Then we're going to just hide the scalar, and then we're going to just parent everything to, or the whole wheel rather, everything from the wheel to that empty. So select all, and then let's go object to that. Then then you just rotate that to make it 90, and that should now be flat. Then what we can do is we can select all, clear parenting. Then we're just going to isolate the caliper. Oops, isolate the caliper. So we've got to select everything but the caliper, because the caliper will not rotate with the wheel. Hide, and then let's just grab the caliper like so. Select. Let's just join everything to that there like that, and let's put cursor to selected. Select. Actually, let's hide that. We don't need that at the moment. Select that. Hide it. Cursor to selected. Select all. Let's move origin to 3D cursor. Let's rename this wheel. And then let's hide that, and then let's select this. Let's make it smaller because it's too big. That's just a visual thing. Select all. Let's parent everything to that. Let's go to the wheel, and then let's rename this rotates. Then let's put rotates into wheel. Let's put the wheel into that collection. Then let's quickly turn that back on. There we go. Okay. What we've forgotten to do is mirror the wheel over. But let's just move it out first. Let's add a little bit of camber in there like that. And let's isolate that wheel and its friends. Then we're going to go to mirror. Then we're going to mirror it about the scalar like so. Then select everything, and let's copy modifiers to there like that. And then let's just quickly rename this. Was it 718 FL? And then we're going to just put, let's hide the wheels for a second. Then we're going to put the cursor to selected, select all, and then put origin to 3D cursor. Then we're just going to put everything into that object there. And then we're going to put the scalar into there, and we're going to put the wheel into scalar. So there we've got the main body, and then we've got the wheels. And I think we just want to lower it just a touch. So what we're going to do is we're going to select this, make sure nothing is hidden, select all, and then let's just go nudge, 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 like that. And Let's have a look at it, all nicely shaded up with just a little bit of camber. And I think that is now ready to go racing. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in. I've really enjoyed your company, and I hope you've enjoyed and learned some stuff here. And don't forget to look out for the animation of this one. As I said, I'll probably do a little race of this one. And if you're interested in watching the a live stream of how I do the race, let me know. But yeah, if I don't hear from you before then, I hope you have a really good Friday evening, Friday night, an excellent weekend, and just generally all the best. Thank you very much. Over and out. That's the finished signal. End stream. End.